Even a happy dog, an idiot dog, has a nose like a hunter's hunt. The Americans who peoples George's life asked him for his thoughts on this revolution. He confessed he knew nothing. Some same as they, that is, only what he read in the papers. When they feel brazen enough to ask where he was from, he said as he always said, Europe, preferring its lack of commitment or association. It still worked, though he could see less and understanding now, in its place a flowing suspicion, good Europe or bad Europe, is still raiding in public places. He pretended Jack drove them to and from the studio, that he was too tired for the news, which wasn't, he told me, a hard thing to pretend. He barely slept and felt feverish, damply paranoid from morning to night and night to morning. There would have to be somewhere from him to go, as soon. He hoped never to hear communism or capitalism ever again. He only wanted once more a home. The nightly movies were supposed to annihilate his brain. He wanted to workshop and to be destroyed, but instead saw juxtapositions and he analyzed them. Theaters south of Sunset offered additional distractions, but even the cocks he saw in men's room couldn't obliterate him. He was thinking in sentences now. In structures, it was putting itself in front of him. A wine tree flash with fat and lazy flow, free for the shooting. He wanted to write something real, something that would be part of a conversation. He broke an odd rule and drank himself stupid. It was harder to guard a secret when you feel most like yourself, when you realized into yourself. You never knew what you say after a martini. And to whom? But it was worse. He told me to be conscious, to be thinking and thinking of what would come next, or what kind of world. If he had a say in it, it could be built. It wasn't, after all, like living in English. There were only so many people who spoke his real language, and it was hard in a moment like this to keep yourself cut off from them, to withhold your imagination, even your wisdom, in a time of deep, dreamy need. To paper over his long absence, he piled jackets with gifts. He especially loved French fries, and if George showed up with a horn of them from the hamburger stand on Sycamore, even at 10 o'clock at night, he could avoid an incident. It felt ridiculous and false. Whatever existed between them seemed measured in the calm between incidents. Eventually, he had to get rid of him or leave him behind. It wasn't something either could sustain, even if Jackets was too young to know it. Being lonely was so terrible. Someone who smiled when you mispronounced a word, or who plucked an errant eyelash from your cheek. It would weaken anyone. You are just tired, George told himself. You can't think clearly. You have no faculty for judgment. In other dreams, different dreams, he and Jack live in the bud past and sip coffee on balconies. They wear long coats and visit museums and lived simultaneously in the mountains above Los Angeles. They walk in the clouds and swim in the ripples of the sky. You are burning, Jack said as shook him awake. Despite his youth, Jack understood illness. It was clear that someone had nursed him, loved him, before they cast him out. Poor George, he whispered. Only a pet name, but closer than anyone else in this city has come to George Foreigner. Forgotten syllables. That Friday, he called Madeline. She would appreciate his pain. At least he made it exciting, exotic. Jack had left early. He hadn't bothered to say why, and Elman was little more than furniture. George let a little of himself out. Let's say, he began, that someone demanded you define love. Christ, George, it's early. It's nearly 5 o'clock. Post-meridian. Is that all?